So if you look at the studies, the data, and a lot of serious research has gone into this. So if you don't trust me, and I prefer you not trust me, do your own research. Always do your own research. Use, YouTubers, whomever, whatever you use to take in information as a starting point. Then you do your own research. You find confirmations. And what I'm going to tell you, you'll see if you do your own research is true. That in markets, on average, a full moon signifies a local market bottom and a new moon signifies a local market top. Given that we're going to have a new moon in about 2 days and we're trending, this is important because when you're chopping, the moon phases can be seen. The effect of the moon phases can be seen. You turn on your moon phase indicator, you should be able to see something. You should be able to see tops at the new moon, bottoms at the full moon, right? Do you see that? Look at this. You can't make this shit up, right? Let's clean the chart up and let's do that again, right? Even in a corrective market where you're chopping up and down, the moon phases indicator, right, or the idea that markets some way, somehow show you local market tops at new moons and local market bottoms at full moons is a thing. And I didn't even prepare this, right? I just, and I like to do these updates like that kind of extemporaneously. I'm always doing market analysis. It's not something I have to prepare for. So I just press the record button and share whatever comes to mind. It's more interesting for me like that. I wouldn't be able to sustain my attention in a rehearsed thing. Anyway, you can see on this indicator the white circles represent the full moons. Full moons represent local market bottoms in markets, in financial markets. This is what studies have shown. New moons represent local market tops. This idea or this phenomenon is even more pronounced in trending markets, right? Not when you're chopping in and out, but you're in a trend. And right now we're in a trend. Hello everyone, my name is Sean and let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is November 11th, 2023. And the crypto markets are at, nearing, or breaking major resistances. Yes, I said that, at, nearing, or breaking major resistances. It depends on which market you're talking about. Are you talking about Bitcoin? Are you talking about Ethereum? Are you talking about altcoins in the aggregate? All we know is that we're at or nearing or breaking major resistances, and that means major gains for cryptocurrency investors in the short term, in the immediate short term, right? How does that coincide with the moon phase that we're nearing? All that stuff we're going to get into. If that sounds interesting to you, then watch until the very end. Hope everyone's having a great day. Let's get started with Bitcoin as per usual. On the 4-hourly time frame, you can see that Bitcoin finally broke out of this massive 2-week accumulation, okay? For 2 weeks, we were chopping in this channel, and we said with a high degree of probability that this channel was going to break to the upside, and it did break to the upside, okay? Why did we think it was going to break to the upside? Very simply because we came into the channel from the bottom. So that looks like a quintessential bull flag, right? What we call a bull flag. You have a flagpole and then you have the flag and you break that to the top. So that's exactly what happened. Now, what of this? A lot of market participants got spooked out by that dump, okay? And this shouldn't have surprised those of you who follow my work, those of you who are subscribed to this channel. Why? I always say 3 major components of any channel: the top resistance, the bottom support, and the midline. The midline is crucial, and the midline must be respected. How do we know that? Well, we always see it. If you look at a channel and you look how the price action behaves in the channel, and once it leaves the channel, either from the top or the bottom, you always see the midline respected. And what do we see here? On the 4-hourly time frame, you can clearly see that once we broke the channel to the top, what did we do? We immediately retested the midline, the ever so important midline, as support. We broke the midline as resistance over here, and we retested it as support. Shouldn't have surprised anybody who follows this channel. Okay, now what do we have? We have some consolidation here. A few things can happen, okay? A few things can happen. Either we come back to the midline and do a double retest of the midline, or we hang out in this region and we eventually break, retest, and move. Okay, so a couple things can happen, not a few things, a couple things with a high degree of probability. Let's jump into the hourly time frame and see how this is materializing. As you can see, there is a downsloping resistance that has been in place since the 9th, so about 2 days, coming on 3 days now. After this midline retest right here, you got a series of corrective patterns, corrective patterns, corrective patterns, corrective patterns. But again, what you're more likely than not looking to do is break this resistance to the top, retest it as support, and then continue for your move to 42.7, which is our next major resistance for Bitcoin. Okay, but between the two options that I gave for what Bitcoin's likely to do, either retest this midline as support in a double retest, or hang out right here. I think the latter, hanging out right here, is more likely than not. Why? Look at the nature of this candle right here that we just put in on the hourly time frame. There seems to be quite a lot of buying pressure at this region, denoting a likely level of support for the price action. The other reason is, once we did this midline retest, all this price action proved supportive. And so this is probably more likely than not what's creating this level of support at this level here, so that you don't necessarily have any buyers of the asset at this level. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing with Bitcoin. Guys, if you're getting value, please like, share, and subscribe. As I said, with the Bitcoin chart, likely to break this resistance, retest it, and continue. Next target, 42.7. Next significant target, 42.7. Now, what about the altcoins? And as I said in the previous episode, this is altcoin season, okay? It is altcoin season. How do we know it's altcoin season? A lot of different ways. One of the main ways is looking at Bitcoin dominance. Again, the measure of Bitcoin's dominance vis-a-vis or versus other assets in the cryptocurrency markets. Bitcoin dominance going up, Bitcoin's gaining against other altcoins or other assets, right? Altcoins. Bitcoin dominance going down, the opposite is true. Altcoins gaining against Bitcoin. On the weekly time frame, looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart, what you can see is there have been 2 weeks in a row where altcoins have gained against Bitcoin. Now, it's important that when reading this chart, you don't just look at things out of context. You want to look at trends, because you're going to get an up and down, up and down, up and down. As you can see here, not much happened here other than going up and down. So there was no trend in altcoins gaining against Bitcoin or Bitcoin gaining against altcoins. It was just a sideways range that we experienced from May of 2021 all the way until September of 2022. The only time you can say Bitcoin was gaining against altcoins perpetually or consistently was from September of 2022, so almost exactly 1 year ago. For 1 year, Bitcoin has been gaining against altcoins, either by dumping less than altcoins, which was the case given that we've been in a bear market, or by gaining more than altcoins, right? But that's typically, the latter is typically not what we see. We see altcoins gaining against Bitcoin when everything's going up. Bitcoin doesn't gain against altcoins when everything's going up on the high time frame because it's just too big of an asset, right? The market cap is too large. It doesn't move as quickly and nimbly as altcoins. So what you're likely to see, it's not that important that you have 2 candles here on the weekly time frame even. What's important is that a trend is starting, and this trend is a swing failure pattern here coming down, right? And that is what you want to see. That, my friends, is altcoin season, when there's a trend of Bitcoin dominance coming down, right? Consistently, week after week, kind of like you have a trend here. You want to look for the opposing trend, and that's how you identify your alt season on this Bitcoin dominance chart. Now, it's the weekend, so our the dollar, US dollar currency index isn't trading. But so we're not going to look at it right now. But what you can notice if you look at that chart on your own time is that it is indeed breaking down. It's in the process of breaking down. Now, this is the total 2 chart. We look at this chart every single time. What is this chart? This is all the altcoins in aggregate, okay? Altcoins all smushed together in one chart. And I talked about this in the last video or the video before last. What you can see very clearly is this long drawn out consolidation of 500 days, and we did break that major 500-day resistance right there. Okay, that is a break of resistance. Now, I did caution everyone, given that this is 500, let's do that again. Given that this is 500 days of resistance, we know with a high degree of probability, at some point, you're going to come back and retest that high level or high time frame resistance as support. This has to happen if you expect a larger move, okay? So, in the meantime, it is still beneficial to trade these to the upside because you're looking for targets to the upside at the next major resistance, which is about $1 trillion, which is also the height of this symmetrical triangle superimposed from the side of breakout. So we're still looking for a move up before we get that retest, that move back down. I mentioned in the beginning of the video that this move, this price action, can be looked in context of the current moon phase. Okay, we're at we're waning, right? We're close to a new moon. The new moon is, I think, officially on the 13th, so in about 48 hours. So what does that mean? So if you look at the studies, the data, and a lot of serious research has gone into this, so if you don't trust me, and I prefer you not trust me, do your own research. Always do your own research. Use, YouTubers, whomever, whatever you use to take in information as a starting point. Then you do your own research. You find confirmations, and what I'm going to tell you, you'll see, if you do your own research, is true. That in markets, on average, a full moon signifies a local market bottom, and a new moon signifies a local market top. Given that we're going to have a new moon in about 2 days, and we're trending, this is important, because when you're chopping, the moon phases can be seen. The effect of the moon phases can be seen. You turn on your moon phase indicator, you should be able to see something. You should be able to see tops at the new moon, bottoms at the full moon, right? Do you see that? Look at this. You can't make this shit up, right? Let's clean the chart up, and let's do that again, right? Even in a corrective market where you're chopping up and down, the moon phases indicator, right, or the idea that markets, some way, somehow, show you local market tops at new moons and local market bottoms at full moons is a thing. And I didn't even prepare this, right? I just, and I like to do these updates like that kind of extemporaneously. I'm always doing market analysis. It's not something I have to prepare for. So I just press the record button and share whatever comes to mind. It's more interesting for me like that. I wouldn't be able to sustain my attention in a rehearsed thing. Anyway, you can see on this indicator the white circles represent the full moons. Full moons represent local market bottoms in markets, in financial markets. This is what studies have shown. New moons represent local market tops. This idea or this phenomenon is even more pronounced in trending markets, right? Not when you're chopping in and out, but you're in a trend. And right now we're in a trend. So what you should expect is a new moon thereabouts at a local market top resistance, right? At the next major resistance, which may be that $1 trillion mark, which would mean in aggregate for altcoins, right? You can expect about a 50% move to the upside in the next 48 hours. That is what the research, this is what the indicators, this is what the experience and all of the studies are telling us, right? With a high degree of probability, this is likely to happen. Is it going to happen for sure? Nothing's for sure, but that's what we're seeing in the charts. If, guys, you're getting value, please like, share, and subscribe. All right, so this is the major resistance that we're breaking, right? The 500-day resistance, and we're in this, on this chart, the total 2 chart, we've just broken it. But if you look at your assets that you're trading, you may notice some are a little below, some are at, and some are just breaking, right? So obviously, as with anything, there's a lot of variation. So you see Ethereum, for instance, it's around 2,000, it's above $2,000, but on a high time frame, Ethereum has already broken its major resistance, okay? Or actually, no. Ethereum's just at its major resistance. Look at this. If you go on the high time frame, what do you see? You see Ethereum's cup and handle, right? There's the cup. This is the handle. You're at major resistance. So even Ethereum, despite its move, right, its recent move up, it's only now at its major 500-day resistance, looking to break it to the upside, okay? Go through your watch lists, go through the assets of interest that you're working with, and you'll see something similar. Let's just do one more. Let's do Dogecoin. Okay, and Dogecoin, as you can see, yeah, okay, good. I thought this was not that good of a chart. So Dogecoin is an example of an asset that's just breaking its major resistance. The major resistance is the top of this channel, and you can see we're just peeking out above it, okay? So we're just at, like I said in the beginning of the video, we're just at, below, or above major resistances in altcoins and Bitcoin. Do expect a major move coming soon. That should be furthermore expected given the moon cycle, the next moon phase of a new moon coming in the next 48 hours. And you know that studies show that 0 to, 36 hours. So 0 to 3 days after the new moon, you should expect that move. So you may not get it at the exact time of the moon cycle, but you can get it anywhere in a window on average between 0 and 3 days. So 0 to 72 hours after that. So guys, that's all I have for you. Hope this was helpful. Hope this was useful. Like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you got value. Take care. See you next time. Bye.
The thing they call divine, when all the stars will smile for me. the